You're not alone. Fear of loss is a real thing in the world today. Are you open and curious about how to eliminate this fear? In this video, I will share the way that I have discovered. The first point I want to emphasize to you is fear can be a liar. Be open to that possibility. So be open to the fact that fear can be a liar. How many times have you feared something and you look up a day later and it's like, nothing happened. I had nothing to fear. If you really think about it, that is a common occurrence. There is more fear that happens from thoughts and past experiences and everything else. Plus, what you're doing when you're in that fear mindset, you're actually taking your level of vibration down to a lower level. I always say there's 3 levels of vibration. There's a God vibration. However, whatever you're oriented to, the highest vibration, joy, peace, love, all of those things. Then there's a worldly vibration. Oh yeah, and this happened to me. And then there's a Satan vibration, which is, oh my gosh, the world's going to fall in. Everything's bad. Woe is me, victim, victim, victim. So those are the 3. So just be open to that possibility that fear can be a liar. It really can lie to you. And once I realized that, it went from an emotion to a choice. So you can have this emotion of fear, which can aid you if a lion is chasing you or you're under attack or something like that. It'll cause you to run or get away. But if you think about fear as a choice, it isn't something that I immediately give into or succumb to. It's something that I choose. I choose how I respond to fear. So I've turned it from an emotion. I still sense it and feel the fear, but then I choose how I'm going to react. I don't let the fear dictate how I'm going to react. I like to call it a discerning pause that you have right after the fear. Just pause and then make a conscious choice about how you're going to react. And that is really consciously taking control of fear. And by doing that, you and I can de-escalate its power. And that's what you want to do, is de-escalate the power of fear. Because fear can drive you and I into some irrational decisions and actions that literally won't serve us in the big scheme of things. I can think of so many examples in my life where I've acted on fear that was unfounded, or it led me into deeper trouble by just reacting to fear. And another tactic that you can use is to write it down on a sheet of paper and look at it from an external perspective. Caroline Lee teaches that in neuroscience, is that perspective, that external perspective, can disarm that fear. It can give you a new perspective. It has given me a new perspective. Because there's something about writing it down on paper. If you're so inclined, and that is a good tool for you, give it a try. Because when you write it down on paper, all of a sudden you get it out of your head and then onto a piece of paper, and you can much more, I think, easily deal with it when it's on a sheet of paper. And then just look at it like, okay, if I'm reading a book or watching a movie and this person is going through this, what would be the strategies that I would give them? What if you're a follower of Jesus like me? You say, hey, what would Jesus do in this situation? How would he react to this fear? Big way to help you deal with this fear thing. And then the next point is look at the flip side. My friend Russell taught about God's law of polarity. So if you get excited about gaining something from a situation versus worried and fearful of what you're going to lose, because the law of polarity talks about any situation, any circumstance, there's either end of the spectrum. There's the positive outcome, the negative outcome. Well, what happens if I'm going to cross that street? Positive outcome, I'm going to get to the other side and get the ice cream that's over there. Negative option is I'm going to get hit by a car and I'm going to die. I know that's a ridiculous example, but think about it. Everything is polarity. Every decision you have to make, there's always a positive and a negative to it. oh my gosh, if I don't work this job that I hate, I'm not going to be able to pay my bills. Or, man, if I was doing a job I really love, I bet you my bills would all get taken care of. Think of the different mindset, the different vibration you're operating in. I talked about the God vibration and the Satan vibration. Satan vibration is, oh, nope, you better not quit your job. You're not going to be able to pay your bills. Pretty soon you're wallowing in that. You hate your job and you're just working for the money. And it's just a slippery slope that you don't want to go down. So think about that law of polarity. That was such a great awareness for me. And hopefully it's great awareness to you. So every situation you face, there is a positive and there is a negative. That's one of God's laws, polarity. So embrace polarity. And my final point is really to emphasize that. Shift to spending more time on the positive end of polarity. Because what you'll find is your mindset's going to be better, your mood is going to be better. This is all physiological as well. If you spend time there and you spend time with people who are operating on the positive side of polarity, there's no downside to it. There really isn't. And it starts building on itself if you consistently look at things from there. And I don't know where you're starting from. You may be starting from a point where you've naturally trained yourself and you've been in a habit of going to the negative side of polarity. So it's going to take some time. Your conscious mind is not going to embrace it right away, but it's going to be repetition. You just have to keep stepping into that. And over time, I assure you, that is going to change your whole outlook. It's going to change the results and the things that you see in your life. And it's a beautiful thing. And you'll be able to be the light for somebody else and share this wisdom with somebody else. Pass it along. That's what it's all about. So subscribe with the notification bell to receive regular updates. If you found this video helpful, hit that like button to see more like this. And comment down below. This can be with questions or answers to a question you ask. And we'll see you the next time on this amazing journey from isolation to community, where the next step beyond is freedom.